So now we're going to do two hypotheses, the null, which we write as HO, and the alternative, which we write as HA. In other statistics class, the alternative might be written as H1, and the HO would be basically like H0. So the null hypothesis states that the parameter is equal to a specific value. The alternative hypothesis states that the parameter differs from the value specified in the null hypothesis. So there's three types of alternative hypotheses. There's the left-tailed, where the parameter is less than the value given in the null hypothesis. The right-tailed, the parameter is greater than the value given in the null hypothesis. And two-tailed, the parameter is not equal to the value given in the hypothesis. Remember, parameter means a characteristic of the population. So for one mean and two-tailed test for means, HO always has a symbol with the equality sign in it. The HA, the alternative, will never have a symbol with it equals in it. The way I kind of think about it is, remember, HO is your null, and if you write the word null on its side, those two L's form an equal sign. So remember that the null always has to have the equal sign in it. The way we're going to teach it in this chapter is based on that table that you see. Just know that some other statistics classes will always have the null as equal. But for us, we're going to try to close the loop and have the opposite sign so that we can account for every scenario that can happen. So for a left-tailed test, the null is that the mean is greater than or equal to the population mean. The alternative is that the mean is less than the population mean. For a right-tailed test, the null is the mean is less than or equal to the population mean. The alternative is the mean is greater than the population mean. And for a two-tailed test, the null is the mean is equal to the population mean, and the alternative is that the mean is not equal to the population mean. So examples of left-tailed tests. You're going to have the following wording choices. For the null, it'll be like at least. And what at least means is you're going to go to one value and above that. So if you look at the sign with the greater than and equal to, that's what it at least means. And you could even have the wording greater than and equal to for your null. Your alternative is less than, below, under. Anything that means that it's below the number but does not include the number. Example of right-tailed test. For right-tailed test, your problems could have the following wording too. For the null hypothesis, it could be no more. So if I say I'm going to give you no more than $10, I might give you 10, but I'm not going to go above 10. I could give you 9. I could give you 7. It's going to be below the 10, including the 10. For the alternative hypothesis, greater than, above, more than. An example of a two-tailed. For a two-tailed, your problems could have the following wording. For the null, it could be equal, is, or no different. And the alternative would be not equal or different. So here's examples of one mean hypothesis tests. The mean number of years Americans work before retiring is 34. So you see the mean number means that we're going to use the mean, is means it's equal to, and 34 is the number of years. So the null for this one is the mean equals 34, and the alternative is the mean doesn't equal 34. So this is a two-tailed test because it's not giving me a direction that said it was less than 34 or greater than 34. It just says is 34. The next one is the mean number of cars a person owns in their lifetime is not more than 10. So remember, not more means 10 and below. So my null hypothesis is that the mean is less than or equal to 10, and the alternative is the mean is greater than 10. Again, this is all based on that no more than 10. When you're learning these, it might help to make a table when you start seeing the wording over and over again so you can keep them straight.